Talk about how Marcel Darius has stepped up as a leader this year.
Well, Marcel's done a good job for us, obviously, playing the game since the time he's been here. I mean, he's a tremendous talent, and just the way he's been able to affect people in a positive way, I think, is really encouraging. Just because, he maybe wasn't the most vocal guy on the team last year, but I think his play definitely dictated a lot of respect. So he did a great job for us up to this point, and we look for him to continue to do a good job.
Do you think his ballet performances in the national championship is something you'll never forget?
Well, I think that was a moment. I think obviously a turning point in the game, and it kind of put it out of reach for them, and I think it was a pretty special moment for him as an individual, and it's a play that you don't see a defensive lineman make every day. So it was pretty special, and it's something I probably won't forget for the rest of my life.
How important was Saturday, like a shot in the arm?
Oh, I mean, it was so important. I think for the team's confidence. I think from just an understanding concept more so than ever, because we got a chance to look at what we did wrong in the LSU game and look what we did right in the Mississippi State game, and we played a good football team on Saturday, and we were able to make a lot of plays on them. So just it's real credit to our execution and the play calling as well. Felt really good about the plan, and I think that that really carried over onto the field.
How are you approaching this, being such a short week?
I mean, it's strange. I mean, it really is. It's I was thinking today, it's like in 2 days I'll be back in the hotel. It's it's just funny, but it's definitely a different feeling. I think it's something that we're all enjoying for the most part. I know we're looking forward to having the weekend off after a tough one on Thursday, but for right now we're just focusing on trying to get better on individual improvement, and just trying to do our best to get ready for Georgia State.
You're not gonna have the weekend off though. You got some important stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna have the weekend off. I'm probably gonna have the most intellectually grueling experience of my entire life, and I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm just glad it doesn't alter my game day approach in any way, shape, or form. I was a little nervous about that, but glad that that's not the case.
What are you gonna do? Do you prepare for that, or how do you prepare?
Well, I've been preparing for months, just doing mock interviews and also just trying to keep up to date in world affairs and just current events and things of that nature. I think that obviously being well-rounded is such an important part of becoming a Rhodes Scholar, and I've tried my hardest to know what's going on both in the UK and obviously abroad, as well as things going on economically all over the world.
Are you supposed to learn if you get it or not almost immediately after the interview, or pretty quick?
Yes, I'll find out Saturday. I believe from the people I've talked to that we'll go through the interviews in the morning. They'll have recalls at some point in the afternoon, and then they'll call everybody in and tell them pretty much as you sit around a big table who's a Rhodes Scholar and who's not. So it's supposed to be a pretty uncomfortable moment, but I'm looking forward to it, I guess.
You gonna tweet the news so we'll know?
I don't know if I'll tweet. My Twitter's been it's been put on sabbatical until our bowl game. Once I get done with that, then my Twitter will be alive and well.
You know, it didn't become official until Auburn beat Georgia Saturday, but it's how disappointing is it y'all will be going back to Atlanta this year?
It's disappointing. I think everyone obviously wanted to have that opportunity to play in Atlanta and play for another SEC championship, but we dug our own grave, unfortunately, and we're just gonna have to live with it. And we still have a lot to play for. We're looking forward to having the opportunities that we're going to have over, obviously, this Saturday and the upcoming Friday. And those are another 2 chances to get better. So, really, this team, I think we definitely had the talent, and we definitely had the team to be able to play in the SEC championship. So it's disappointed, but we got to learn from it and just try to get better, and hopefully those guys can make another run at it next year.
Can you just talk about Julio is up for the Blitnikoff, I think, finalist? Just talk about what that means that you're going to play a part in that, or that you've had a role in that.
Well, I mean, that's great. I found that out actually today. That's fantastic for him, and he's very well deserving. I think he's been as good as any wide receiver in the country this year. Unfortunately, those awards kind of become so much about statistics, and the great thing about Julio is although his statistics are off the chart this year, just the role he plays on a weekly basis in the running game and the checks and just the leadership he has on and off the field, I think are really the things that make him special. So, we're really happy for him. He deserves all the credit he's gotten, and hopefully that credit will continue to flow in.
If you could expound upon that. I mean, it's kind of, we've joked about, it's like the legend of Julio Jones, all the different ways he's been hurt and yet he's still played, and the fact that he said to us, I don't care whether it's a block, I don't care what I have to do as long as we win.
Right.
Expound upon what he means to you, those intangibles, really.
Well, I think that's just so important. I think, we see it day to day. I'm, watching SportsCenter, the wide receivers that are complaining about not getting the ball, the wide receivers that are making a mockery of whatever it might be, meals, things of that nature. But, that's the nature of that position. And Julio is one of those guys that just doesn't ever complain. He doesn't ever, he doesn't ever become frustrated because he's not getting the looks. Even last year when he was a little bit hobbled, he just tried to do the best he can to make an impact. And, I think that's just really, a lot of, it's really kind of nice to see. Obviously, he comes from a family that instilled a lot of character in him, and I think we're just really proud to have him. I'm just proud to have him as my teammate. Really, I mean, he's a special person. He's obviously a very gifted athlete, but a special person outside of that. And a lot of people don't get to see Julio the man. They more see Julio the legend. And just knowing him and getting to know him over the past 3 years has been a really great experience.
What can you say about the teachable moment that Coach Saban had with AJ?
We've all been there. I mean, I think my first touchdown pass was against Western Carolina, and I remember I threw it to Nick Walker, and we had Baron Huber wide open in the flat, and I threw it into double coverage to Nick, and it was a pretty good throw, but it was probably a better catch, and I could have had a lot easier one to Baron Huber, and I got ripped just as bad as that, minus the spanking after my first touchdown. So we've all been there. It's a teachable moment, of course, the way you described it, and I think that's the great thing about Coach. Regardless of what the score is, he's going to come down upon you if you deserve to be come down upon.
Does he have a pretty good right hand?
I wouldn't know. I've never had this spanking. It was pretty funny, actually. I didn't even know it happened. AJ actually said he didn't know it happened until after the game. I guess his adrenaline was going so fast, but we guys are laughing at it pretty hard when we watch college football final. Pretty good stuff.
You guys are on a 19 consecutive home game win streak.
Knock on wood.
How much does that help you guys playing at home?
Well, I mean, it helps. Obviously, the atmosphere helps. You can communicate so much better at your home field, and I think just that comfort level, I think is probably the most impactful, especially for the guys that haven't played a lot of games. I think last year when we were going on the road, it was just you just never really felt at home. I know that you just never really feel like you're in your element, and when you're at home, you just it all feels natural. It all feels everything's just, you're so acquainted with everything, and I think that just that sense of comfort just really helps. And this year obviously we've played well at home. We haven't done as well on the road, and I think that's the reason why home field has been so helpful.
Star Jackson was not able to win the starting job at GSU. Do you seek him out after the game and give him any kind of words of encouragement or keep your head up, that kind of thing?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, Star obviously gave us a couple good years here, and we were able, got to know him pretty well, and he was a good guy. Unfortunately, he decided that Alabama wasn't the best place for him, and but he'll give it a run. He's a good player, he really is, and he might not have won the job this year, but next year, I'd keep my eye out for him if I was their quarterback. He's a special guy, and he's just got a lot of athletic ability, and that will eventually translate. I mean, I think that guy might have had, whoever was there before him might have had an upper hand in the offense or something like that. But Star's a talented kid, and he's definitely someone that you have to keep an eye out for.
What's your plan Saturday as far as, you already picked out a suit? Where are you going to eat? You have to
I haven't picked out my suit yet. I got to go to the dry cleaners this week. So we'll see. I mean, I don't think I have anything lucky. I deal through competitions on a weekly basis. Unfortunately, they're not as grueling as this one may be from a mental standpoint. So I'm really looking forward to it, though. It's been such a great ride, and Alabama's been such a special place for me, and just having the opportunity to represent the school, I think, is probably the best opportunity about it. Obviously I love the fact that I'm the person being able to do it, but having an Alabama student up for a Rhodes Scholarship is tremendous, and hopefully I'll be able to go up there and represent us to the best of my ability, and hopefully, if we keep our fingers crossed, I'll be able to walk away being able to call myself a Rhodes Scholar.
How many
Provide
people
enough
are there?
mental stimulation for you when you come up here every week?
On a weekly basis, absolutely. Football-related questions I don't think will necessarily translate, but I think the interview practice has definitely been beneficial for me.
How many people will be there you'll be competing with?
I think it's 14. I'm not 100% sure, but I've heard, anywhere in the range of 12 to 18, I think, of people that will be going through the interview process, and it really is. It's going to be very, very difficult. Only 2 people will be selected, so hopefully, hopefully my resume, has obviously given me the opportunity to go. Now, if I can just be able to impress them just a little bit with my interviewing ability and just my knowledge and appreciation for the Rhodes Scholarship, I think hopefully that will be very, very helpful in my application process.
Do you consider that a home field advantage since it's in Birmingham?
I'm not sure. I think I've actually had that question a couple of times. Do you feel better about the fact that it's in Birmingham? I don't know if it is, because I think the people doing the interviewing will be coming from all over the 3-state region, and it's going to be, obviously there'll be a lot of great minds up there. And I think just having the opportunity to go meet those people and spend time with the other candidates will be just as beneficial, if not more, because those are the people that I would consider to be the future leaders of the United States, and wherever those people might settle, they're people that will probably make waves in business or in chemistry, whatever their field may be. So I'm looking forward to meeting those people and spending some time with them and picking their brains about what it is they want to accomplish in their lifetime.